The house on Briarwick Lane had no address, at least not anymore. Mail never came. Delivery drivers skipped it without knowing why. And if you asked anyone in town about it, they'd hesitate, just long enough to make you notice, before saying, "Oh, that place burned years ago." But it hadn't. Not really. 17-year-old Mara Vance only moved in because her mother couldn't afford anything else. "It's temporary," her mom had said, forcing a smile as they stood in front of the tall, narrow house with peeling gray paint and windows that reflected too much sky. "It looks fine," Mara replied. It didn't. The house felt like it was listening. The first night, Mara couldn't sleep, not because of the unfamiliar creaks or the wind pressing against the walls, but because of the silence between them. It was too complete, too heavy, like the house was holding its breath. At 2:13 a.m., she heard it, a knock, not at the door, from inside the wall. Mara sat up slowly, her heart beginning to pound. 3 knocks. Pause. 3 knocks again. She stared at the wall beside her bed. "Hello?" she whispered. The knocking stopped. For a moment, everything was still. Then, a faint scraping sound, like fingernails dragging across wood, from inside. The next morning, Mara told herself it was just the house settling. Old wood, old pipes, old imagination. Her mom was already gone for work, a note left on the kitchen counter. "Back late, lock the doors." Mara almost laughed. Lock them against what? She explored the house that afternoon. It was bigger than it looked from the outside. Too big. Rooms didn't quite line up. Hallways seemed longer than they should be, and every mirror reflected her just a second too late. She stopped in front of one in the hallway, stared, moved her hand. Her reflection followed. But not perfectly, not immediately. Mara stepped back. "Nope," she muttered. "Absolutely not." That night, the knocking came earlier. 2:11 a.m. Closer this time, from the wall at the foot of her bed. 3 knocks. Pause. 3 knocks. "Stop," she said louder than she meant to. Silence. Then a whisper, faint, strained. "Help me." Mara froze. Her breath caught. "Who's there?" she asked. The voice came again, barely audible. "Please." She didn't sleep after that. The next day, Mara searched the house more carefully. Closets, corners, floorboards, nothing. Until she found the door. It was hidden behind a warped panel in the hallway. No handle, just a thin outline in the wall, barely visible unless you knew where to look. Mara pressed against it. It shifted, then slowly creaked open. The air inside was wrong. Cold. Thick. Like stepping into a space that hadn't been opened in years. A narrow passage stretched ahead, barely wide enough to walk through. The walls were unfinished wood, scratched and marked. And at the end, another door. Mara hesitated, then stepped inside. The passage seemed longer than it should be, each step echoing too loudly. The walls creaked, not from age, but from pressure, like something was moving inside them, following her. She reached the door. It was locked, but the wood around the handle was splintered, like something had tried to get out, or in. "Hello?" Mara whispered. Silence. Then 3 knocks, from the other side. Her heart slammed against her ribs. "You're the one from the wall," she said. "Yes." The voice was clearer now, still weak, still strained, but closer. "My name is Mara," she said, her voice shaking. "Who are you?" "I don't remember." Something about that was worse than anything else. "Why are you in there?" Mara asked. "I was put here." "By who?" "The house." The temperature dropped. Mara took a step back. "That doesn't make sense," she said. "It doesn't like when people leave." A creak sounded from behind her. Mara turned. The passage had changed. The walls were closer now, breathing, shifting. She ran, but the hallway stretched, endless, twisting, and the scratching was everywhere now, inside the walls, above her, below her. "Don't leave me," the voice cried from behind the door. Mara stopped, turned back. "I'll get you out," she said. The lock wasn't normal, it wasn't mechanical. It pulsed faintly, like something alive. Mara grabbed it anyway. The moment her fingers touched it, the house screamed. Not loudly, not physically, but inside her head. A shriek that wasn't sound, but pressure. Memory slammed into her, flashes of people, different faces, different years, all entering the house, all hearing the knocking, all opening the door, none leaving. Mara gasped, stumbling back. "It keeps us," the voice whispered. The walls began to close in, literally, wood bending inward, splintering, narrowing the space. "You have to open it," the voice cried. "I'm trying," Mara shouted. The lock pulsed again, harder, faster, like a heartbeat. Mara clenched her teeth and grabbed it with both hands. The pain hit instantly, burning, freezing, pulling, like something was trying to drag her into the door itself. "You're not taking me," she whispered, and then she pulled. The lock snapped. The door flew open. Inside was another version of the room. Her room, but wrong, rotting, decayed, and standing in the center was a girl. She looked about Mara's age, but her skin was pale, stretched thin, her eyes too wide, her mouth slightly open, like she'd forgotten how to close it. "You came back," the girl said. Mara's stomach dropped. "What?" The girl tilted her head. "You always do." The walls behind Mara sealed shut. "No," Mara whispered. "No, that's not." Memories hit her. Not flashes, not glimpses. Whole pieces. She'd been here before. Not as Mara, but as someone else. Another girl. Another time. Another name. And she'd opened the door then, too. "You don't remember," the girl said softly. "None of us do. Not at first." Mara backed away. "What is this place?" The girl smiled. "Too wide. It's where the house keeps its echoes." Behind her, figures began to emerge. Faint, transparent, dozens, maybe more. All watching, all waiting. "You're part of it now," the girl said. "No," Mara said. "I got you out." The girl stepped closer. "No," she said gently. "You let it in." The floor shifted. The walls stretched. The room expanded into something impossible. Mara turned to run, but there was nowhere to go. "Help me," the girl whispered. And Mara realized that was never a plea. It was a lure. The last thing she heard before everything went dark was 3 knocks from inside her chest. Later that evening, Mara's mother returned home late, tired, distracted, calling her daughter's name. No answer. But as she walked down the hallway, she paused. There, in the wall. A faint knocking. 3 knocks. A pause. 3 knocks. "Mara?" she whispered. From inside, a voice answered. Weak, familiar. "Help me." The house listened and waited.